So the question specifically was about eviction, and so a lot of these answers prior to me, I'm back in cleanup again, weren't really about eviction, and so except for Mr. McKeach, Representative McKeachin's. So this book, or excuse me, this question and the issue in Richmond was based on a book that I happened to have actually read 2 years ago by Matthew Desmond, and he tracks, it's in Minneapolis. And when that book came out about a month later is when this kind of set the world on fire, or at least this world on fire. And so cities started to look at their own eviction rates, and within a few months or so of me having read this, the article in the Times-Dispatch hit that Richmond has a major problem with it. And the answer to the question, or at least a couple of the questions that are in there, is yes, eviction is a systemic problem. It is an inequity that is built into our system that needs to be rectified. If you read this book, I actually have the response that I wrote for the PhD coursework. So the book, most of this, 3/4 of the book, is indications of a very systemic problem where people are actually profiting on it. So people within the communities of eviction are actually profiting on it and have multiple houses. There are a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of problems that need to get rectified in that regard. But what also then happens is the court system and the legal system actually help the landlord. There's a heavy bias to the landlord, whoever that landlord may be. And so that needs to get resolved. What Desmond suggests and cites examples of from around the world and around the country is what Mr. McAdams referred to, and that is public housing. Is the idea that public housing would be a great solution decades ago has abjectly failed. And what he suggests is a voucher system that allows folks to go out into the community and not be concentrated in public housing, and that also solves the eviction issue and is cheaper overall and gets people on the ladder and things. VCU, one of the professors that I have a good relationship with and another that I don't know, are actually working through the Wilder School to take what Desmond wrote and to take the research that's being done on this and create policy proposals that could be adopted at the state level or potentially at the federal level, as Mr. McKeachin, Representative McKeachin just referred to. And so I support this issue. It is a systemic issue that needs to get solved.